Hey, this is Chuck Worley of Worley's Home Services. We are offering a show to the WNIS listeners, the 757 House Whisperer Show, between 6 and 7 p.m. every Wednesday night, every week. Houses talk to me. Call in and we will answer your questions about house problems that you're having. We can fix them. Our website is 757housewhisperer.com. You can reach us at 757-955-9415. This is Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services, the 757 House Whisperer Show on WNIS. Thank you all for joining us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. We're here with a couple sponsors, Justin with Pyramid Roofing. We got Albin with Albin Homes. He does home remodels and new construction. Tommy Hines, the perfect home remedy guy. He's the money guy. He's the guy that can get you some money. I always say Tommy's got all the money.
Yep.
And then we got Mike Davenport with CVP Custom Vinyl Products. They are our window sponsor. So if you guys need any of those services, you definitely want to give us a call or text at 757-955-9415. Definitely want to call in tonight. What we're looking for is customers with problems with their houses. Oh, and the other thing I want to say tonight is Happy Valentine's Day. So it is Valentine's. So all you guys that are listening to this show at 6 p.m. and you're on your way home right now, and you just heard me say Valentine's Day and you started sweating.
It's too late.
You better stop by Pollard's or Jeff's Flowers, or you better stop somewhere on the way home or your butt is going to get in trouble. So you could slip by the grocery store and get some candy. Not that I'm living by, example here, but, I have been known to forget about Valentine's Day until the ride home. Don't act like H hadn't.
It happens.
So we got Mike Blythe tonight. He's one of our estimators at Worley's Home Services. He is. I'm trying to train him to be as smart as me, but we're working on it, man. We're really trying. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, I definitely. If anybody knows Chuck Worley, you know that I surround myself with people smarter, sharper, faster, and that is really why I am successful. Is I surround myself with great people, and my rule in our business is great people, great business. And you have sucky people around you. Yet nobody pushes themselves to get to the next level. I don't want people to just come to work for us and they're just trying to make eight. I want somebody that wants to be part of the family, wants to be a proud part of our family. When they look at jobs, they're just excited about their job. I love seeing our guys post on Facebook that, man, look at this job. And I'm like, that is fantastic. Just being proud of the work that you do on a daily basis. It's anyway, that's what we're like. But tonight we got the great Tommy Hines, the perfect home remedy guy. And then of course me and Mikey Blythe here. Hanging out on the radio. We got our Zoom all set up. We're going to be posting this on YouTube, and it's going to be a great thing. So if you guys, just to let you know, the service areas that we serve, Virginia line, not North Carolina, this way, Virginia line, all the way up to New Kent, Towano, Lenexa. Which one's the furthest way out? Is it Lenexa?
Probably.
Or is it Towano?
Yeah.
New Kent. I don't know.
New Kent's out.
All our country boys out there that we got working for us.
Man,
I think New Kent's probably the furthest. But so you'll see our trucks running around from New Kent all the way to the Virginia line. So that is our goal, to serve the 757. We came up with this show to serve the 757, helping people with their houses. There are so many problems in houses. I've seen nightmares. One of the reasons I asked Mike to come on is he is showing me pictures of a house that we just looked at. My goodness, how people live in some of these houses. It's it's not safe. We were talking about a sewage leak today. I mean, well, you do not want that underneath your house at all. So tonight, I want you guys to call in or text the 757-955-9415 is our 757housewhisperer.com, www.757housewhisperer.com. You can go to our Facebook, our YouTube. It's definitely a great show to come back and watch. You guys, every single show that we've done this year, we just kind of started this year. Me personally, and I know Tommy's been on this radio for, what'd you say, 1979? I don't want to make your tooth longer than it is.
Just a long time ago.
So, I mean, I've been on and off the radio since the early 2000s. With Keith Bales, was a personal friend of mine, and I was on and off his show for several years. And then the 757 Home Pros was on for several years. Some of you guys have been on the radio, may remember those shows, which is where it gave me my brainchild of the 757 House Whisperer, because I wanted to bring back that show, because I just remember helping so many people answer questions about their house. I think I've told some of you guys that my dad was a CB in the Navy. He was in the construction battalion. My dad could fix anything on a house. So when I'm growing up, I'm just thinking everybody knows how to do all this stuff on the house. And I didn't realize how blessed I was to have a dad that my joke is he was a Navy chief. So he showed me how to use a hammer, but he also showed me how to duck one. Tommy, you haven't met Pop Worley yet, but I keep threatening to bring him on the show. And he's a 70-year-old, just pig-headed, 19. Was he born? I can't remember. Anyway, he'll be 78 in April, and he's just one of the greatest men. He's one of my heroes in life. But that was a tough somebody, right? When I was growing up. But it's just I just didn't realize how blessed I was to know what a 16 penny nail was when I was 17, 16, and 15 years old. I've got 27, 28-year-old guys that when I was going through college and coming out of college, they had no idea about that stuff. I was really blessed that I was able to get into the apprentice school at the shipyard and even learn more about the trades. And it's really, the show is all about the Hampton Roads 757 customers and clients and homeowners. How the heck do I fix this? What's going on with this? We are going to be your place where you can go, ask questions, and we can answer. There's just not a lot of shows like this. And I think focusing on our area and our customer base, I've had so many people, I don't know if you were listening or Tommy was listening last week, where guy right at the end of the show just called in and thanked us for serving the 757 and serving the homeowners of the 757. I'm sure that we are going to get business from helping people on the radio. But I don't know, it's kind of a two-way street, right? We come in, we help one person, a guy calls in, has a question about his house, or a lady calls in, has a question about their house. I'm not just helping that one person. I've been helping, and Mike's the same way. He's almost as long in the tooth as me. We're helping people one-on-one with a problem in their house. We're helping them. Oh man, you do this, you do that. Well, now we're helping one person, and there's thousands of people listening. We're going to help a couple hundred other people at the same time. And it's not just one-on-one. I'm not in the field every day anymore. So I lost that, where I'm helping somebody on a daily basis fix something in their house that's jacked up. I love the fact that we're training our guys to look at everything. If you got a jacked up roof, or I'm walking around, or the gutters are falling off the house, and you got water underneath your house, and I'm like, well, why don't you fix the gutters? I'm not trying to sell you a crawl space or a sump pump, or I'm like, why don't we fix the gutters first? Like, you got water just dripping under your house. So we're training our guys to look for everything. The house is a system. It all works together as a system. It's one thing to another, and it all works together. So we're trying to figure out, how do we help people figure out their house versus just buying something, right? Rather consult them, Do you have something to say, Tommy?
Yeah. Do you know, it's not a coincidence. It's Valentine's Day. And you know what most of the ladies in the house would really love? That's their perfect home. Their perfect home exists in their mind, and in their heart and their spirit. And perfect homes is where love lives and flourishes. So that's significant on Valentine's Day, is that we as a team here, 757 House Whisperer, when you or Alban Homes or Pyramid Roofing or any of these guys go out, I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times, and I know your sales guys do too. They say, hey, I'd really love to get all that done, but my budget says I can do half of that right now. Well, they don't have to stop there anymore, because that's what Perfect Home Remedy, I made this come into existence years ago when I got frustrated of how expensive it was to get those short-term temporary loans or the expensive equity lines of credit that can sometimes it's not very safe to get an equity line of credit right now, to be honest with you, because of inflation. One reason is inflation. Inflation kills budgets. Inflation takes that monthly payment you thought was going to be low and makes it higher a couple of years later and makes it less affordable. So I've just had 21 years, created Perfect Home Remedy as a resource to coordinate a homeowner who needs work done on their house, but they don't have those tens of thousands of dollars it often takes to get the job done. So whether they have equity in their house or they do not have equity in their house, whether they have the savings or don't have the savings, they don't have to cut the budget. If the house needs to be improved and repaired, it needs to be improved and repaired sooner than later. Would all agree with that?
Yeah, and the problem is sometimes, like I was talking to a customer the other day about, she had a 2-story house, and she had ductwork that was jacked up. It was 18, 19, 20-year-old house. I think it was 18 years old. And she said, well, I need to insulate my house. And I'm like, well, your ductwork's just jacked up. If you insulate, it's going to be a bear to come back and fix the ductwork after you blow in 18 inches, 16 inches of ductwork on top of it. So really the right job was fix the ductwork, put a zoning system in where she has a thermostat downstairs, a thermostat upstairs, replace the equipment, and do the insulation after that. But she was sold on just doing insulation. I'm like, I'd rather you wait and not do anything than to do the wrong job first, out of sequence, that's going to cost you more money later, because now we're going to have to move the insulation just paid for 3 years ago. I'm going to have to move it out of the way to put in the new ductwork. I'm going to trample the insulation down. I'm like, can we just wait? Like, let's wait, get the money, and then let's just do the right job. Do it all at the same time.
I was talking to one of my realtors today who did my 3-hour continuing education class, and realtors, how to build in renovation into the purchase of a house, because the least expensive time to have houses updated and renovated is at the transfer of ownership, at the purchase. And so we were talking today about how flexible it is to get renovations put in the budget. For example, $10,000 of renovation, I can bring in at $60 a month. $20,000 of renovation, I can bring in at $120 a month. That is affordable. That is the most affordable way to get it done. But what we cannot do here at 757 House Whisperer, Chuck, and for everybody listening, we cannot customize your best solution, your best finance options over the radio. You have to go to perfecthomерemedy.com. Let us know what your need is. Talk to Worley Services, talk to Pyramid Roofing, get connected with us. We will then find the best way that fits every single homeowner and every single home buyer that is going to make it affordable for you, because everybody's circumstances are different. We don't quote interest rates here. We don't quote, I just quoted a monthly payment, just those rough ballpark terms, could vary a few dollars either way of that, but and rates do change all the time. But the most affordable way to do it is using the improved value of your house. We call it a future value loan. We take the renovations that are done through all your 757 House Whisperer contractors, and we take those renovations and we put it into a situation where we give an appraiser these renovations, and the appraiser appraises the house as if the renovations were completed and they're already done. And therefore, we don't have to worry about equity. We don't have to worry about whether or not what do you call it? There's things, if you're doing a refinance, there might be mortgage insurance, right? If you loan too much money out of the value of your house,
Right.
we eliminate a lot of that for a lot of people. But it's always going to be the most affordable way to get the job done. And that's why we're partnered together, because I love your 20 plus years experience in pyramids and Albin Homes and all the other partners that are 757 House Whisperer Pros. We save everybody listening time and money because we have the expertise. Chuck has vetted people. I have vetted the right loan officers to refer you to. I've vetted the right realtors to refer you to if you want to list your house one day. Probably is a good idea to renovate it before you list it. So we can help you put those pieces of the puzzle together and keep it affordable.
Yeah, it's definitely the way to do it. And I mean, you've got like energy efficient loans. What's that? The 403k loan? What's the
Yeah. There's USDA has renovation loans. The Veterans Administration has renovation loans. FHA has renovation loans. So there is a lot of different sources, and I'm not on the air to give anybody any specific advice or counsel, except at Perfect Home Remedy, we're going to match you up to an experienced loan officer that knows how to put the pieces of the puzzle together and customize it for every single homeowner or home buyer. People who are buying right now today, realtors are telling me the inventory is ridiculous. If a house goes on the market, there's people lined up at the front door to walk through that house. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. But you know where the bargains are, Chuck? The fixer-upper.
Yeah.
The fixer-uppers are the real bargains, because they're still sitting on the market 30 days later because the realtor doesn't know a good loan officer that knows how to do renovation. The realtor doesn't maybe even have renovation experience themselves, and they could take my class. That's what Perfect Home Remedy does. Is we offer a 3-hour CE class, continuing education is what CE talks about, and we give them 3-hour credit on their realtor license. So they can learn how to use renovation to benefit the community. Because in the past, Chuck, you know what the problem was? Houses got renovated after about year 5 or year 10 of ownership. Now, why do you think it took 5 to 10 years before they got the money to renovate the house? Why do you think that?
I don't know if it's about money or they just figured out after 5 years they were tired of dealing with the crackhead builder that messed up their house.
it's just about, it takes that long to build equity of tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to build tens of thousands of equity. You got to wait 5 to 10 years, but not with a future value loan, because we take the renovations and they become the equity. The renovations themselves, before they're even put on the house, become the equity. Therefore, you don't have to save up the money, and you can get renovations done this year and not wait 10 years later to get them done. But that's the reason that home quality, okay, the used homes are in not such good shape. They're in not good shape because the average homeowner doesn't save $20,000 in their bank account. I find it extremely difficult to save anything these days with inflation. How about you?
Yeah, no, it's definitely inflation does not seem to go down no matter what everybody's saying. It's
the repair costs, your material costs go up, your labor costs are going up, right? And so you have to put that on. So the more people procrastinate doing their repairs and renovations, the more expensive it's going to be next year. Stop procrastinating.
Yeah. It's been a crazy couple of years. That's for sure. I mean, I look at, we're growing in business, but I'm like, are we growing or are we just keeping up with inflation? Yeah. It's sure, do more in revenue and make less money, but it's inflation is definitely 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 hurting all of us, I'm sure. So but yeah, those loans are Tommy is definitely the guy to call for any. So reach out to us at 757-955-9415. That's 757-955-9415. You can call it, you can text it, and I'll get you right with Tommy. And it's one of our taglines for the show is houses talk to me. And there's so many problems in houses that people have that they really need answers to, and we can really be a great solution for everybody. And that's, like you said, we've vetted people. We're not just hiring Tom, Dick, and Harry. We want guys that are going to stand behind their products and do a great job. Someone that's proud of where they work at. So but definitely 757 House Whisperer. And that number again is 757-955-9415. So, so we're going to have fun on this radio show, no matter who's listening. Me and Mike Blythe are over here at 790 AM. We appreciate you guys listening to our show every Wednesday night. It's the 757 House Whisperer Show. I am Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services. Houses talk to me, and I love fixing houses. In the 757, we have got a team of guys to come in, and anything or any issues in your house, I've got an expert for you. If it's not me, I could pretty much handle everything from heating and air, electrical, plumbing, crawl space encapsulations, spray foam insulation, insulation. There's not really much that I cannot figure out about a house. But we got Justin with Pyramid Roofing. We got Albin with Albin Homes. And of course, we got my good friend, Mike Davenport at CVP Custom Vinyl Products to handle all the windows. And me and him been friends for, probably 25 years, but he is a good friend. So those are the team that we put together to come up with the 757 House Whisperer Show. Please call in if you ever have any questions about your house. We can fix it. 757, just to give you that number again, 757-955-9415. You can call that number. You can text that number. Just call in and we will answer your questions about your house. Any issues, crawl space to the roof, we can answer your questions. So I invited Mike Blythe. He is one of our estimators, custom, what do you call yourself? Customer advisor. Yeah, comfort advisor. He is extremely smart guy. He has seen a lot in our business. He's the guy, if you're having any replacements from boilers to tankless water heaters to heating and air conditioning, ductwork. He is a fantastic guy. And as I told you all, great people make a great business. And me and him been friends for years. And one of the reasons that I approached him about coming to work for us is because of character and integrity and doing the right thing. If we surround ourselves with guys like that in our business, we're going to have a great business. And he wanted to come into the show and see what the heck I'm doing on here, goofing off on Wednesday nights on the radio, at least trying to make people laugh.
That's
anyway.
right. Absolutely.
So why'd you join Worley's?
Whew. Mainly, I was at a really great company years ago and stayed there 25 years. Corporate management came in and corporate greed followed it, and the quality went down, honestly. And I just didn't feel like I was being honest with people and didn't have the support I needed to feel confident in my job, and here, knowing whatever we do, we're going to do it right. Absolutely every single time. And that's a big deal to me. Knowing if I do make a mistake or if my guys make a mistake, the management team, Chuck and Chase, Corey, 100% at the end of the day, it will be done right. And that's just, I feel better about myself. I feel better about what I do, and I love helping people. So being able to deliver that service that way it's a big deal, man. It makes me proud of what I do. So I like helping people. I do. I like designing things properly and setting them up properly and advising them properly. And there's a lot of things I don't know. But with the talent here, there's just endless talent that I can pull from, between the install guys and the plumber guys and the management staff. And there's nobody I can't get an answer from. And I feel like I drive them crazy some days with questions, but I'm just trying to make sure we're doing the right thing at the end of the day. And,
Right.
and I really, that's what I love about Worley's, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of next man up. I
It
mean,
really
as
is,
much as I hate
100%.
I hate the Patriots.
I know.
I hate the Patriots.
I know.
Sorry if any New England fans out there, but you need to go back up north. No, I'm just kidding. But it's I mean, next man up. I mean, that was
100%.
what's that
Yeah.
coach's name?
I'm not a football guy.
Belichick. Belichick.
Okay.
Man, he is a great coach, and it was always next man up. I mean, he
Yeah.
always had the Tom Brady, which, again, don't like Patriots, but I love a winner. And Tom
Absolutely.
Brady is definitely a winner. And it's always been, I mean, I remember when they had a wide receiver go down, like pulled a hamstring or something, and a freaking safety filled in as wide receiver.
Yeah,
Like
one
that
team,
happens.
man.
That
Absolutely.
happens here. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
we've of course got,
Yeah.
we bought Rick's Heating and Air, gosh, years ago,
Yeah.
back in 2017. And Rick Jr. is just a monster, man. He is so talented.
is.
And that was one thing that Rick Sr. told me. He's like, bro, you seen Heating and Air installed,
Shit.
and then you seen the Heating and Air.
Ricky's way.
Yeah,
That's right.
Ricky is a beast. But
Yeah.
now we've got Ricky was like the only guy we had in 17 and 18.
Hmm.
And now we've got guys backing him up, because he's
Absolutely.
getting longer in the
Yeah,
tooth,
Absolutely.
being up in these 150-degree attics,
Yeah, it's no
Now
fun.
he's got a team of guys behind him. And then Corey running all the show, running. I mean, I know that, I mean, our worst guy could be the number one stud at
At a lot
another
of
company.
places, 100%.
Like it's the
Yeah.
way I look at it is I'm a big Nick Saban fan. Alabama's great, but I'm a Nick Saban fan, right? And one of the things that I liked about him was, or that team is like, or what I thought about that team was, that third receiver, fourth receiver on Alabama's
Yeah,
team
still a
could be
beast.
like starting at,
Yeah.
I don't want to say
Absolutely.
another college, but like some lower level Division I college,
Right. 100%.
Indiana or whoever,
Yeah.
could, I mean, he could be a number one stud at
Yeah.
that team, but yet he wants to be on the winning team.
That's right.
And that's what I feel like we've gotten here
I
over
agree.
at Worley's is that, man, it doesn't matter. You're not worried about what team is going out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like you're
I
like,
agree.
oh man, Ricky's not coming. That's okay. Who's up? Will. Who's up?
That's right.
Will. It's the next guy. It doesn't matter who's.
And I have customers tell me that all the time, how well they work together and how much they can see the processes and the way we execute the details and, all of it. That's a big deal. People see a unit and that's it, but it's how the whole puzzle got put together.
And how many
that-
times you've seen a job
And-
that you missed, the job, and someone else sold the job, and you go back by there and they got a rusted up disconnect box sitting on this brand new unit they spent
Mhm.
thousands of dollars on, and they got this
Yeah.
rusted disconnect box hanging on by half a screw.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah,
like
I was
that-
at one today, and the brand new water heater in an attic that didn't replace the old valves. One of them is leaking right now. It's been installed for less than 30 days.
That's
And,
just
and I'm
embarrassing.
there.
And we,
Not the
and-
guy that
right.
thought he got a good deal or whatever.
Right. It's
It's
the big thing is
terrible.
even as an example, like just changing out a water heater. We're changing out the valves, we're taking out the gate valves, we're putting in ball valves, we're putting in ballast tanks. We're pulling permits on every single job. We are just doing the right job. Character, integrity, doing the right job.
every time.
That's it. We're not cutting corners. We're not just coming in, slapping a system in. Because here's the thing. You're never going to call me back if I do a bad job. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're never going to call me back.
Yep.
It's if I do the right job, and I'd like to kind of think we got this attitude in our company, and I believe we do. Is what I like to tell guys is, if somebody isn't referring us after we did a job for them,
That's right.
we didn't do the right job. We didn't
Absolutely.
finish the job. We didn't, because our next job should be coming from that customer, because they are so blown away by the customer service and doing the right job.
Yeah.
It's our next job comes from doing the right
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, I'd be embarrassed if I walked up on a job, and someone said, yeah, you guys did this and it wasn't the right job. I'd be
That's right.
like, here's an example. You walk into that job, you're talking about this leaking valve,
Mhm.
and you look at that job and you're like, yeah, you guys were just here. You just installed that. You could barefaced look at that guy dead in the eye and said, sir, you were wrong.
That's
That
correct.
did not happen.
100%.
Because let me tell you something, Corey would tear them up. I
Yes,
mean,
he would.
there's no way.
Yep.
We take pictures after every single job.
Everything.
I mean, my guys, my managers are looking at pictures of jobs before they leave the jobs. They can't just leave a job. The pictures have to be done. That way, Corey kind of does a once over. And then after the install, we're coming back and doing what we call, or what we started years and years ago, is a happy check,
Love it.
which we come back and we check to make sure that you're happy. I actually learned it from another company and I increased it. So not only was the estimator or salesman or someone that sold the job, for the first 5 years, I personally looked at every single install on the house.
Yeah.
Whether I sold it, I didn't sell it, I went back. Any install on heating and air conditioning. Now we've expanded that to plumbing
Yeah.
and tankless. And
Yeah.
so now we had to
Crawl
hire
spaces.
2 full-time guys that we pulled them out of the field, producing money, producing income, to make sure that we're going behind all these big jobs. And it's whether it's a tankless, it's a water heater, we're expanding our electrical division. We just bought another electrical company up in Williamsburg, Yorktown area. We'll be announcing that soon. But now we're doubled the size of our electrical division. So now we're going to be expanding that. You're not just going to go take out a panel without having a happy check. So doing the right job is extremely important to us. Anybody can slap a heat pump in, right?
Yeah.
Everybody can slap a heat pump in.
They think they
How
can.
many jobs have you gone on to and you go out there and it's a brand new unit and it's got a rusted up disconnect box?
Yeah.
I would lose my,
Right.
I would come,
A crooked old pad level with the ground.
I would come
Yeah,
unglued.
I know.
Like I would lose my stuff.
I
If
know.
I thought that one of our guys
Yeah.
cut a corner like that and didn't do it, because the problem is that pan's been there for 14 years. It's got rust in it already.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a new unit. It's not going to get wet,
Yeah.
but
How's it going to be in 5 years?
yeah,
Yeah,
10
that's
years.
right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
13. And,
Yeah.
you know, and what happens if that thing has already got rust in it? That means there may be a leak in it. There
That's
may
right.
be a hole in it. And 5 years now turns into a nightmare.
It
Where
could
if
have been
I'd-
avoided very simply.
It could have been avoided
Yeah.
by doing what?
The right job.
The right job.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
character, integrity, do the right job. And I just feel like that's what separates us from the masses of mediocrity in our industry.
Yeah.
And it's why Worley's was born. My son is the same way. I learned it from my dad. My son is the same way. He will, I think somebody in our company that was doing a job and somebody keeps cutting corners, they're not going to be here. We don't have to fire anybody. I think people fire themselves when they're here because they're making a decision. Do I want to do this right job or do I want to just get in and out of that
That's right.
attic and slap it in?
Yep.
We've had people come and we've also had people go.
We have.
We've had people in 2 days walk out because
I'm
they
not doing all
realize
this extra work.
I'm not doing all
Yeah.
this extra work.
I'm not used to doing all this extra work. you know?
I don't want to have to take pictures. I don't want to have to. I mean, we have one guy to come in. He's here for about 2 weeks, and he walks in. He goes, "Man, you want all this paperwork done? You want to fill out all these forms, and you want me to take all these pictures?" And he's like, "This is crazy, man. I can make more money and do less somewhere else."
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
I mean, you just told us who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
I don't want that guy
You don't
here.
fit here.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
do not fit here. It's a culture thing here.
It is.
And it's great. I like telling the story of a lady. This is kind of third party from Chase was telling me, and Chase is my son and runs really the whole operation. He just is a machine. But a lady calls in and we have done a crawl space for her. We did an encapsulation for her. So she's had the experience of 3, 4, 5 guys working under her house. She's met all of them. She met everybody, jobs, gave the guys pizza. Like she's knows who's on her house, right? Then she calls up, and I'm pretty sure, I know we've done service for years, doing maintenance and stuff. So she's met 3 or 4 of our technicians. And then we did an install. I think we did a heat pump install for her. So then this is 3-year relationship, right?
Yeah.
So she's met 10 of our guys, right?
Every bit.
Great experience every single time. She's had a great experience, right? Calls the office and says, hey, that plumber you sent out here, he's not one of us. Like no, that is not, no. I like it too. I was like, she's like, you need to let him go. And we're like, who is it? So we're looking up on the service site, we're trying to figure out who the hell was over there, So we look, we just hired a guy a couple of weeks before, right? Just hired him like 3 weeks before. And this was the second or third, he's not doing the right things. The managers have already reprimanded him. Look, you got to wear booties when you walk in the house. You got to put them over your shoes. You got a carpet stain, and I got to send a cleaner over there, right? Yep. So, which we do, right? If something like that happens. So anyway, calls up and she goes, you don't understand. He ain't gonna make it. So our customer is calling us, telling us that a new employee ain't gonna make it, because that is not why I call Worley's.
That's right. 100%.
That is not why I called you
I know
guys.
exactly. You don't know.
And don't say his name. I almost slipped a minute ago. Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the customer.
Oh, you know who the customer is? Oh, that's great. So, but yeah, we'll call her Mrs. Smith. Right. But it's but yeah, she called in. She's like, he's not gonna make it. So we look up and we're like, oh man, he was there 13 minutes. He wasn't there he didn't take any time with her. He didn't explain everything. He was rude to her. Like he talked down to her. And I mean, she's like, no. No. She's like, I've had 13 people in my house. Yeah. You were one of them, right?
Done her attic, her crawl.
Was it attic? Okay, attic crawl.
Yeah, at 3 different times.
Yeah. So she's experienced 13 of our guys, different divisions or whatever. And she's dealt with the girls in the office, the ladies in the office. So she's already had an experience level that this is not going to make.
We're not going backwards.
Yeah, we're not.
That's right.
No, you are not allowed to keep this guy.
That's right.
And the problem is trying to train a 50-year-old plumber I almost said his name again. So it's trying to train a 50-year-old plumber to look, customer service is a big deal. Customer service is a big deal. And it's not, he just didn't feel like that was important. And I feel like it is important, doing the right thing for the customer. It's, are we perfect? Absolutely not. No. I mean, you were talking a little bit earlier.
Oh yeah. We did.
You did, what was it? A tankless combi?
We took out a boiler and a water heater and did a combi, which is a combination natural gas boiler for heating with a built-in hot water heater together, all in one.
Tankless,
right? Tankless. Mounts on, hangs on the wall like a picture. But yeah, we freed up so much space in this guy's garage. He is over the moon happy with it.
And we repiped the whole thing. Like
it's
we'll have to post that.
extravagant.
We'll have to post that on our Facebook. But
I did it on mine, but yeah, I can.
Yeah,
for sure. It's a really beautiful install. Couple of days later, actually wound up having a water leak at one of our brand new fittings. It just started leaking. It was not there.
So it stopped for 2 days, didn't leak.
And started leaking. So, he's texting me pictures of it, and he was so happy with what we did. He asked me to try to go straight to our install manager and not let you and Chase know, because he didn't want our guy to get in trouble. That's how much he respected our team, and awesome. So I was like, no, he just, I don't want to mess up a bonus or anything. I'm like, no, not worried about that.
Yeah,
but want to get you taken care of. And then in the same conversation, I got a referral for his mother-in-law who needs the same exact job done.
So we screwed up.
But
we manned up. We took it. We owned it. We're going to fix it.
Absolutely.
There's one little, there must have been 100 different connections.
There was 100.
Every bit of it.
We
repiped this thing where, anybody had seen a boiler, the thing's like the size of a Volkswagen bus, right?
Like
or Volkswagen, VW Bug.
Like a maze of
and then it goes up like a picture on a wall. So we had to cut all the plumbing out, all the copper, and then put it up against the wall. So there's a lot of fittings.
Gotta be 50 fittings.
Yeah. It's a Pro Press. Was it a Pro Press? Yeah. That looks really good.
It is gorgeous. sounds corny, gorgeous boiler, but it
I-
really, the
when you see the
workmanship-
before
yeah,
and the
yeah,
after, you're like,
yeah.
oh my God, that is
Yeah,
beautiful.
when you can look at workmanship and detail and not taking the lazy way, but taking the straight, square, flush, plumb way, and taking the extra time to do that visually, it's better.
It's
It's just a
important.
much better
It's
job.
im-
It
it's
truly
important.
is. Yeah.
Yeah,
But, yeah, he was so
I
happy
love
with
this.
that. And
So he calls to say, "Hey, I got an issue, but I need you to go to my mother-in-law's and
because I'm
sell
so
her
happy with
Yeah,
everything.
that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's wonderful.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
could take calls like that every day.
All day long.
I,
Yeah.
In fact, I may request a few. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
I
you
know.
could call and tell me I screwed something up and say, "Hey, but I'm
Yep.
so happy with the guys,"
Yep.
and can we just,
Absolutely.
yeah. So can we just, I
Yeah.
want you to go do my mama's house.
I
And
remember
anybody that trusts you with their mother-in-law,
brave man.
that's
eh?
a big deal. That is a big deal. I got a buddy of mine up in Williamsburg. It's an Italian guy, and I said, look, he trusted me at his mama's house. And if you got an Italian guy, it's going to trust you to
Must
do
be
work.
all- you must be
Yeah,
all
you
right.
must be all right.
Yeah,
If you
that's right.
trust an Italian guy, trusts you at his mama's
That's
house.
right. Especially
You're
your
doing
mom.
something right. You're
That's
doing
right.
something right.
That's funny.
So, but yeah, hey, just want to remind you guys, it's the 757 House Whisperer Show. I am Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services, and this is Mike Blythe. Kind of came in and sat down with us today. I do want to wish you guys a happy Valentine's Day. And I just want to remind you the ways to get a hold of us: 757-955-9415 and 757housewhisperer.com. Thanks for joining our show every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Thanks again.
Cool. Thanks, Chuck.